Chapter 60 Poison Test. Yu Jitong was very confident he could sway Han Li since he did not believe that there was anyone who could resist stepping onto the path of cultivators and the temptation of immortality. He thought back to how Dr. Mo hated him but still ended up working with him and even occasionally tried to get on his good side, believing this would make Yu Jitong more submissive. Much to Yu Jitong's disappointment, after Han Li heard his enticing promise, he did not reveal even a hint of excitement, his face remaining as impassive and unmoving as ever. As for the matter of cooperation, we can discuss that later. Right now, I still have one question that I hope you would provide me with a clear answer. Han Li said softly as he calmly stared at the ball of light. If I answer this question of yours, then you will be willing to cooperate with me? That depends on your answer and if it is to my satisfaction. Okay, ask away. Yu Jitong promised immediately and demonstrated his understanding of the concept that one must learn how to yield under pressure. Han Li did not immediately answer, but instead raised his head up to the ceiling in a contemplative manner as if he were thinking deeply about how he should phrase the question. Seeing Han Li's solemn face, Yu Jitong couldn't help but feel a sense of fear creep up within his heart as he himself wondered what kind of headache-inducing question Han Li would ask him. I want to know if there are any negative side effects from devouring Dr. Mo and a portion of your own soul, because I currently feel a pain in my head almost as if it's being filled to the point of exploding with information that I am unable to recognize, said Han Li, finally mentioning the one worry he had since he had woken up. After listening this question and realizing that Han Li was worried about such a small problem, Yu Jitong immediately felt unease in his heart dissipate, and even his voice lightened up. So you were worried about this? Well, little brother, you worry too much. In fact, you don't need to put this matter at heart. If you really want to know, the information you feel stuffed into your brain will slowly disappear within a year or two, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. So what you are saying is that the things I swallowed are absolutely useless and that I am completely unable to hold on to them? I don't trust you on this, Han Li said coldly as he glared at the Yu Jitong with traces of suspicion evident on his face. Saying that you can't even hold onto a bit of it is not actually true, but what you can hold onto is indeed only a small portion of it, Yu Jitong quickly added onto his explanation out of fear that Han Li would misunderstand something. For example, you will be unable to touch the included memories, experiences, and emotions, and even if you did absorb them, there is a high chance that you will instantly become mentally crippled, your personality will develop split versions of itself, your consciousness will collapse, and your brain will ultimately burst, leading to your death. You have to understand that the soul is the most precious thing a person can possess. How can it be so easily combined with other things? It is true that you can absorb someone else's soul and have it temporarily rest in your subconscious, but to make it your own is simply wishful thinking. Otherwise, if a simple body possession can allow you to absorb all of one's memories, experiences, chi techniques, then wouldn't that cause the whole world to fall into chaos? If things were that simple, then who would honestly practice cultivation along with going out and exploring the different realms of this world when they could obtain all this through simply possessing someone else's body? Once a soul has been consumed, the only thing that can be used is a little bit of the energy the devoured soul has left, which could then be used to bolster one's own reservoir of energy for a short amount of time. It's due to the fact that this type of energy escapes the fastest, staying within the body for only a few days before it dissipated along with the devoured soul. Once it's gone, you will be unable to use it. As Han Li continued to listen to Yu Jitong's explanation, he slowly put down the last strand of doubt he carried within his heart, because he could tell from Yu Jitong's tone that he was not lying. After all, it became increasingly obvious that Yu Jitong was seeking out a similar cooperation with Han Li similar to the one that he had with Mo Jiren. He knew that Han Li was testing him, so he did not dare to lie. When Yu Jitong finished the last sentence of his explanation, he saw Han Li nod his head and couldn't help but feel a sense of relief as he knew that Han Li believed him. At the same time that Yu Jitong brightened up a bit, he asked hurriedly, "Little brother Han, it seems like you are satisfied with the answer I provided, so don't you think that now would be a good time to discuss our terms of cooperation? Of course, being able to work with a cultivator is my utmost pleasure, Han Li said in a sincere tone, flashing a big smile that revealed his white teeth that gleamed in the candlelight. Really? Yu Jitong asked excitedly in disbelief, as he did not even have to try to persuade Han Li, who agreed all by himself. Of course, Han Li answered crisply. Then he pulled something out of his clothes and said to Yu Jitong in a familiar tone, now that we are partners, you wouldn't mind doing a small test for me before we discuss any further, right? Test? Yu Jitong paused for a moment, before looking at the familiar-looking cylindrical object in Han Li's hand, while a bad feeling crept back into his heart. That correct? More specifically, a poison test. Han Li uttered these words as he lifted up the cylinder-shaped object before moving his thumb a little, which then caused some black liquid carrying a rancid smell to shoot out straight towards its target. Ah! Yu Jitong emitted a sharp and painful scream as the black liquid covered the whole green globe of light. The green globe dimmed significantly, showing that the injury he had received was not light. You dare attack me, to poison me? Yu Jitong screamed hoarsely, still in disbelief as he was unable to accept the event that just transpired. Han Li did not pay attention to Yu Jitong's angry shouts and instead reached for the dagger located on his belt just above his abdomen. He then swiftly unsheathed it with a shua, revealing a shiny blade. The dagger was one of those rarely seen jade daggers, which had blades that were incomparably flexible. The dagger in question was as wide as a knuckle and about half a meter long. Han Li only obtained this double-edged dagger by paying large amounts of money in order to get the blacksmith to custom make it according to Han Li's specifications. Since Han Li did not specialize in weapons, he did not have an opportunity to bring out this dagger during the struggle with Dr. Mo, but it seemed like the time has come for him to use it. Previously, Han Li had kept this weapon hidden on his body and almost didn't have an opportunity to use it. His face darkened and his original smile disappeared by half at the thought of almost not being able to use the dagger that he paid a large amount of money to obtain. He looked at the trembling ball of light with apathy and, without saying a word, took a flying step forward as he savagely hacked at the green globe as if he were chopping a block of wood.